Good evening, everybody. It's me, Gabby, the Witchy Earth Angel. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody has had a great week and weekend, and that everybody is safe, healthy, and happy. Uh, so, I always get kind of nervous after I say all that, and I'm like, what else do I say? So the reason I'm making this video is for two reasons. So the first reason is I wanted to kind of give an update about the Ouija board session that we had. We did have the Ouija board session, and it was it was fun. It's not something I'd ever done before, but it's something that I'd always wanted to do. My friend Stacy and I did the Ouija board, but my husband manned the camera, and I don't think he was really like he would watch it, but I don't know that he would be into actually doing it. But we'll see. Uh, the only thing that happened was my friend Stacy and I kept getting like weird feelings coming through our fingers and our hands. But that was it. The planchette never moved. I scared her a couple of times, which was pretty funny, but that was about it. And so I wasn't really sure that I should upload the video because it wasn't very interesting to me. But if you still feel like you at least want to see the video and you know whatever, maybe you might find it funny or entertaining in some way, let me know down below and I will uh, you know upload it. So if you're wondering, like, well, you said you would upload a video about you doing a Ouija board, I haven't seen it yet. That's why I wasn't really sure if I should upload it or not. But I would like to try it again. I did read a couple of articles that my hubby wubby sent me afterwards saying, actually, I think it was during when we were setting everything up, and he said, um, some people are saying that instead of putting it on a table, you both sit in chairs and you have your knees touching, and then that's where you put the Ouija board, and then you conduct the session that way. So I think next time we might try it like that. And he said that when he saw his sister do it, that's how they did it. I'm just trying to get this all figured out, I guess. Whatever. But again, so if you'd like to see it, let me know when I'll upload it. I would like to try to get together and do it again. Excuse me. So, yeah, just let me know. Now, as for the dreams that I wanted to talk about, I did want to talk about some of the freaky dreams I've been having. I'm gonna do each dream in a different video, so the video isn't super long. I will try to explain it as best as I can. My hair is bothering me. Whatever. It's just not cooperating today, you know what I mean? It's just blah. I mean, you know, this is why. Hold on. This is why you have monetes. There. That looks better. You like my professional headset? Oh, feels so professional. So, where the dream starts is, I do want to explain that the first weird thing that I noticed in this dream, which in a couple of these other dreams that I've had, I also have this feeling, and it's abnormal to me. In most of my, in most every other dream that I've had, I always feel my body. I feel like I'm in my body. When I touch something in the dream, I feel that I'm touching that. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm in a body and I feel body things. Well, in this one, I'm just like a ball of consciousness, and I can feel that I'm in a spherical shape, and I'm but I can observe, I can speak, I can, you know, still do all that stuff, but I have no body. And I'm really aware that I have no body. And it kind of feels weird because you'd be thinking as you're flying around that you could feel your legs, but you don't. And it's kind of weird. Uh, the other thing in in this dream and the other dreams that I will explain in other videos is I feel like I'm being pulled into a bubble that is somebody else's world, a different being's world, and I feel like I'm out in like outer space, kind of. It's what it looks like, and I'm just floating around, but I can feel that something is pulling me to this other planet, this other world, um, and I can feel myself bloop, like pop into that bubble, and bloop when I pop out, and then I wake up. So the stream starts out as that, I feel like I'm being pulled into somebody else's world. I feel myself bloop into their bubble. And where it starts out is where I'm in the upper dimensions, like kind of like their heavens in a way. Where these beings live kind of reminds me of like an old castle type of place. It looks like an old castle and it feels like an older castle. Everything is made of stone, everything. And there's torches lining all the hallways. All the hallways are pretty tall and they're all arched, like that. So the main thing that I automatically see besides all that is there's this big room and there's this big archway leading into this room, and there's these two big doors that are made of really thick sticks, and so it's a solid door. It feels strong, but you can see through it, because it's made of thick sticks. I hope I'm explaining this correctly as best as I can. And there's these two beings. Now from this point on, them and everybody else, including myself, when my little ball of consciousness sees, I guess, my lower self in this realm, this person's world, um, we are all skeletal. Everybody is skeletal. There's no flesh, there's no nothing. It's just our skeletons, and we all have these robes on. Some are gray and some are blue, whether they're kind of like a faded blue, baby blue, or a deeper blue. They're all blue or gray. I think I want to say one of them was maybe a darker color, but I don't know. So on one side of the room, though the doors are closed, right? So on the inside of the room is a masculine skeletal being, and on the outside, coming from the hallway, now standing in front of the door, is a feminine skeletal being, and they are talking to each other. And I'm kind of like bearing witness, like they want me to see this. So the male, the masculine, I don't get their names, who's inside the room, is taught very strongly bearing his heart to this other being and telling her, and I got a really strong sense that they were referring to me. He was referring to me in this conversation. And he said, I know that I'm supposed to be walking alongside her in this journey, that I am supposed to be guiding her, giving her advice, and just being there. He said, and I agreed to it. And I wanted to agree to it, and I really thought that I could do it. And then he says, but where her path is taking her, it's taking a dark turn, and though I knew that it would, and I thought that I could do it, I'm realizing that I can't do it. It makes me really uncomfortable. It's just not. I'm not a good match. I thought I could do it, and I'm realizing that I can't do it. I'm not. I forget the word that he used, but basically, like, in his heart is telling him like he's not he just can't. He can't go any further along with me on my spiritual journey. Is kind of what is the feeling that I got from what he was inferring with his words. And she didn't judge him. I really had a feeling that she had kind of a high status there. She was listening to him. Um, she was very kind, and I kind of got the feeling that he was nervous to talk to her about this because at the ultimately what he wanted to do was ask her a question and ask her for a favor rather. So he asks her if he could ask her a question, and she says, "Of course you can. What is it you want to ask?" And he said, I am telling you, I'm not being modest when I'm telling you that I cannot do this. There is something within me. I thought I could, but I can't. I know this is what I agreed to, but I can't go any further. Would you be able to stand? Would you take over for me? And even though everyone's was a skeleton, I could see and feel her go like raise her eyebrows really high, like what? And she even was like, "You take over?" And he goes, "Yes. Would you step in my place and finish and follow through with what I cannot follow through with?" He's like, "I want to, but I can't." And he was very fervent about that. Like I know I agreed to this, and I really thought that I could, and I didn't see a problem with it before. But now that it's getting to this turn, I'm realizing that I can't do it, and I need your help. And she ultimately, even though she seems shocked, she wasn't upset, she wasn't mad, she wasn't even disappointed in him. She was just shocked about it. That the way she was just shocked about it. I guess I don't know how else to explain it, but she did ultimately agree to take over. Now I feel like this may be a message from a spirit that I am working with, and the next time that I clean her altar and kind of refocus her altar a little bit, I would like to share that video with you. I think it would be kind of fun and just something beautiful to share. But I almost wonder if this was her because she felt familiar, but it was in a way, me seeing her that way was not something that I expected. Um, so fast forward, I can feel that now she wants me to see the next part. And the next part, I feel like I'm being pulled down, and I can see me going through like each floor of this building where they live up in the sky almost. And it looks a lot like the earthly plane, but it's not. There's mountains. It kind of, has everything that the earthly realm has, but it's not the same. But I feel myself being pulled down through the whole building and the mountains and all the routes, and I can see it, and just going down like in an elevator to different levels. And then I am now in the earthly part of this world, and I'm still up here in the sky, and I have like an eagle view of everything. It is nighttime. I am looking down at a horse-drawn wagon, and I'm looking down at a family. And even though I can't, like, we have no skin, we're just skeletons, I know who each of us are. There is a guy, there's a man that is he's trying to herd us all into this wagon. And we don't really want to go. We're freaked out. Some of us are calm, some of us are not. I can hear my sister's voice, my mother's voice, my father's voice, my husband's voice, my voice, a few of my friends' voices as well. I even want to say that my dog was there. Um, Everyone was skeletal, and we all had the blue robes on us, or gray, or different variations of blue robes. But we all had blue robes. Never was our hood down. Yeah, our hoods were never down. Our hoods were always up, and it was everybody. Everybody always had their hoods up. Even up there, they had their hoods up. They did not have them down. I feel like that was important to say. Well, making sure I'm all buttoned here. So this person gets us all into this wagon and closes the door. And I almost want to say that there was a narrator, and it kind of reminded me of the voice of the cartoon Beauty and the Beast when he narrates that cartoon. I feel like his voice was kind of similar. It reminded me of that. The hard part is I don't remember exactly, how do I say this? It was like I felt the words instead of heard the words. You know what I mean? Same with when I was viewing that or observing that conversation in the higher dimension. I could feel their words, but as for hearing, it wasn't like that. But everybody had a different tone still. Does that make sense? I know that sounds weird. But so that's kind of what it was. And so as I almost wanted to say the carriage, the wagon takes off, and this horse is booking it, by the way. There's this really long dirt road, which we are on, really green, rich grass. On this side of the road is just trees, a big forest. Same over here, big forest, right? And there's a full moon. The sky is fully illuminated by this moon. It's beautiful. There are no clouds. If there were, they were very little, and the stars were twinkling bright. It's actually a very beautiful night. But there was a weird feeling about it. And it was like this narrator was saying, now she's being drawn to her next chapter, like yeah, I guess being drawn to the next chapter, moving forward. The feeling that I got was kind of sadness, like we didn't want to go, but we were being like forced into this wagon. And even though it seemed like something that this shouldn't have happened, it was actually supposed to happen. It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be. Obviously, when you're being forced to do something, forced to uproot and move your life and start putting your roots down somewhere else, it can be a very traumatic experience. And that, I guess, that's kind of the feeling that I got. So finally, we get there, and I got this feeling that my sister's husband and his crew had been building houses here, actually in all these different places that were becoming different towns. But oh, that's my dog eating his food. But we didn't realize that we were building the homes for people being forced to move to these different towns, which included us. We had no idea that he was building our home, and our whole family lived in this house. It was a pretty decent sized house. We lived by a big, big lake, and in this dream, everybody was pretty nice. There was this feeling of this, he's so cute, this spirit that would really come out at night. Like you would feel her kind of watching you during the day while you were doing your laundry, hanging up your laundry on I forgot what they were called. Like, when you have the laundry lines outside and you hang them up. That's what we were doing. You could feel her watching you and keeping it, just like observing you. She wasn't really judging. She was kind of suspicious. Why are all these people here? What are their intentions? What are they doing? So she was really just observing everything. And it was at nighttime that you had to be careful. Now, I couldn't really put my finger on whether she was actually malicious or not. I feel like she was wondering the same thing about us. You know what I mean? But I didn't really get the feeling that she actually was just out to hurt people. So at nighttime, when we learned pretty fast within the first couple of nights, you would hear this shrieking call, this shrieking noise, like a woman just yelling. It wasn't really like a scream. It was like she was yelling, and but it sounded non-human. Uh, I couldn't really explain it to you, but we would know that okay, she's like awake and she's gonna be wandering around the entire forest, including where our homes are. So we would all, go in our homes. You could stay awake and everything, but you had to have your big door closed. You couldn't just leave your big door open and have your screen door like locked. You really need to have everything closed up. You just could not be outside during that time, right? Until the sun like broke over the mountain, and then it was like okay, like she went back to sleep and we could get back to our day type of thing. That was the feeling. Now, there was another group of people, a whole group of people in each town, and I think they were all like one group. They just split off into these towns, and they were trying to terrorize the town, you know, intimidate people into you need to give me half of your crops, and you need to give me half of your milk. Anything that you make, anything that you profit off of, or whatever that you're trying to build for yourself, we want half. These were not good people. And even when I first saw one of the dudes come out of the woods and try to walk up to me when I was doing the laundry. By the way, at this point in the dream, now we all have flesh. Now we're not all skeletal. It was kind of weird, right? It started off that way and then partway through the dream, all of a sudden the next day I can see the skin and flesh on us. It's nuts. But I just got this disgusted, ugly feeling. Like, ugh, like I wanted to throw up. It was not good. I did not like these people. And they were trying to intimidate me along with everybody else. And we basically all told them to F off, which I thought was pretty cool. Because I'm like, no, we're not going to let you take root here. You're going to have to do all the work that everybody else is doing. You're not just going to get to come in here and intimidate people and basically steal, take half of all the work we're doing. You go and do your own work, and why don't we all just give to each other and support each other like the plan is, jerk. Um, so then the night after this, I got upset because I kind of feel like I had this role of like I'm protecting my family in a different way, not like with my muscles, uh, like spiritually, kind of in a different way. That was the role that I played, was to protect my family, to keep them safe, and I was kind of giving lessons to my nieces and my other family. A couple of other women in the town were doing the same thing. It was like everybody kind of knew what their role was, and we were naturally donning that responsibility. And I almost wonder if this was kind of like a test. But in the dream, we had done everything right. Right? It's nighttime. We're all inside. I'm reading a book. There is a horned owl on one side of the room and a big, uh, big raven in the other, and they're like my friends. And I even like sleep with them. Like they cuddle with me. For a weird reason, I don't want to say that I slept in like a coffin, but I slept in an enclosed kind of space. It made me feel safe. I don't know. But for some reason, I just didn't want to fall asleep, so I was reading. I had some candles lit, but it was apparent that there was a really big owl and a really big black raven. I almost want to say it was not a raven. I'm so sorry. A hooded crow on one side. Hooded crows and regular crows don't look the same. They have the thing. You just Google it. They're really pretty. But they were in my dream, right? So I'm hearing this noise and I just kind of get this feeling. When my sister comes out, I think after my sister comes out and she's talking to me and saying that she had a really bad feeling. And I said, I do too. I really don't want to go to sleep. And she said, just keep an eye out. I don't think I'm going to go to sleep either, but I'm going to check on the girls. And my youngest niece came out and said that she saw somebody in their bedroom, and it scared her. Well, I want to say that there were two sisters. These spirits of the land, they were two sisters. I just remembered this. One of them appeared very ferocious and was really scary looking. I don't want to give any spoilers away if you haven't seen The Witcher, but she kind of looked like I think it was like the second main creature that he ended up having to kill, because she killed that other Witcher or whatever. You know what I mean? So, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry. If you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's kind of what she looked like, but not exactly. Similar. Well, that was one sister. The other sister was more ethereal, kind of like spiritual. Like she could manifest physically, but she was very wispy. Flowing white robe. She wasn't blonde. I want to say she had really white hair. I didn't really get to see her face, but I feel like um, she almost kind of had that glow like Galadriel in the Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings. You know how she kind of had that glow? It was kind of like that. But she was very wispy and ethereal, and you could see through her. She was very transparent. And so the scary one, I don't remember their name. Excuse me, I do not remember their names. The scary one was in our house. Now, that's breaking the rules, right? And somehow it transpired to where, like, I told everybody, stay in your rooms, don't come out, stay on your beds, but just if you see her, close your eyes. Like, you can't look at her. Don't engage with her. She won't be able to engage with you, right? So I open the big front door. I take salt, and from one end, like from the right side of the doorway, I make a big thing around to the next side, and hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So, on the right side of the doorway, I make a big, kind of like a circle on the porch and connect it to the left side of the doorway. And the door opened by itself, by the way. So now she was able to come into the house. So she technically broke into the house, and she was trying to like scare my family and like terrorize my family. And so I stood out on the porch, and I kind of like called her out to there, like hey, I need to talk to you, kind of thing. She couldn't enter into my circle, and I told her, you cannot break into our home and start scaring my family. We've followed all the rules. You know, how can you break into our home, try to hold us to a standard and say that we need to leave and like threaten us with violence and fear when you broke your own rules to be able to do that? You're not even holding yourself to a standard. So you need, please like leave my family alone. We have no like bad intentions. We're not bad people. And I kind of pointed out that there are a group of people that are actually bad. And if you want to go after people who are not following the rules and that are, gonna like taint this place, maybe go after those people. But the way you went about this was very suspicious, kind of thing. And like I remember I was kind of like forceful about it, like, mm, and she was very offended by that. And she took her. I told her that she needed to leave. Like, you broke into our home. Like you can't do that. We were following the rules, yada yada yada. And so I told, like, I will close the door again. We're not going to be out at night. We're not going to do anything bad. You know, we were forced here and we didn't want to come here, but we're having to make a life here and we don't really have another choice. Well, she got mad and she took her long fingers and they were like really long nails. I don't want to say they were long nails, but they kind of came, her whole finger came to like a point, and she slashed my throat and she slashed my stomach. And I remember being shocked, like I could feel it and I could feel the warmth of like the blood like cascading down my body. And I remember even thinking like I was resigned to my fate. I can't stop it. You know, like I'm gonna die. But I also didn't want to show her any fear, so I still chose to like kind of stand my ground in a way. And then she like did this spin thing and she just like turned into dust and flew away in a way. And then I kept thinking I'm gonna fall down, you know, I'm gonna like this is it, and I'm waiting to die, and I don't die. And then I feel again and I look down and like my shirt's cut, like where she slashed, but I'm not cut. My throat wasn't slashed, my stomach wasn't slashed. It it almost felt like it would test in a way. And then after that, there was kind of a mutual respect between both of us. We could leave our big door open. We could even sit out on the porch. But to alleviate any suspicions from any of the other neighbors or the bad group, we didn't really do that very often. But there was a feeling like, I want to say a few nights later, it like really affected me. And I kind of went into like a very introspective hermit type of state, and I could feel like I was going through a really big change and a lot of old parts of me were dying away after that. And that was partly due to her. Um, on the other side of the house, there was two big glass sliding doors that led out onto a porch, another porch. And it was like she was out there and her sister was out there and they were talking to each other. And they actually seemed very, very friendly. But she kind of kept an eye on our family and kind of protected us, and we all kind of we had like a relationship. We became friends and worked together. She did. I feel like they did some work on that bad group, and wherever they were, they kind of like started to push them out. They like terrorized them out, and they purified the whole place. And I feel like it was kind of a happy ending. And then that was about it. There were a couple of other things, but um, I think maybe my mind took over and started to kind of control the dream. But after that, I woke up and that was that. It's pretty interesting. But I still kind of get glimpses of that dream, and I'm still trying to understand all of what it meant in a way. I haven't thought about it in a little while, but I just felt like I really wanted to share that with you guys. So, you know, if you like these videos like this, let me know in the comments and I will upload more. I hope you all enjoyed the video and enjoyed the weird, creepy, kind of odd dream that I just shared with you. But dreams, you know, dreams hold a lot of meaning, and I do believe that spirits communicate with you through them, and that there are very meaningful messages that you know, warn us about things and help guide us through our life. You know, so dreams are very important to pay attention to, especially if you are into or even beginning a spiritual practice. Always pay attention to your dreams. But I wanted to share this with you guys, with you all. I hope you all have a great rest of your week and stay safe. Wash your hands. Um, be loving and kind to one another, and let's just remember to stay positive and take care of each other. I love you all. You all have a great rest of your night and rest of your week, as a matter of fact. And I will see you next time. Bye.